So today we are online in a virtual meeting and we will talk about Agent Development Kit. This is an open source project backed by Google. And I'm going to talk about getting started with this framework, using it. And if you have any questions, then I am happy to answer those. I have built more than 30 agents so far with this agent development kit. I have personal projects running under this. I have in production projects. I am a developer and I love to work with this technology as well. So in a nutshell, you probably know that today we are living the agentic era where you have the capabilities to offset your work to some agents, or some of the, let's say, batchable processes can be run by agents as well. I hope that after this presentation, you will be able to get yourself or the team members to work agentic way, where you are able to define custom agents, where you are able to chain 1, 2, 3, or even why not tens of agents to fulfill an ask, a job, or something that helps you to do so. My name is Márton. I'm from Romania, and I have been giving speeches about Google Cloud since 2016. And I was appointed as Google Developer Expert based on my answers on Stack Overflow. I answered a lot for the folks there, for the questions. My answers reached 19 million people. And today as well, I answer on Reddit and on GitHub as well, many times. I'm a backend developer and I am polyglot developer. And now with prompting, I am able to actually do a lot more than I envisioned in my career. Last week at the company, there was a quick request to do some WordPress plugins. And hey, I am not a WordPress developer, but let's do it agentic way. And in 4 hours, I was able to accomplish the minimum viable product to showcase that this is the plugin, and from here, some professionals need to take it further and harden and everything else. You can find me on Medium. I actually write a lot of professional articles there, which I say it's unique. It's something that others are not covering, and so on. So you probably know that LLM and prompt is the past, and now even many tools like the reasoning loop, where there is agents that are assembled and they get the task done, is something that part of the developer everyday life and also part of an everyday person's lives. But there is the multi-agent systems, which is, let's say, the company, the business part of this, where corporates or startups or whatever development teams are actually handing off some work to agents, and we need to build those agents. So this presentation is going to cover a bit about this part of a developer life. When we talk about an agent itself, there are many elements, and let's set the language jargon when we talk about some stuff. So first of all, we have the end user. We have a query, we have a response. It could be the ask itself. The query is referred to the ask. We have the agent runtime, which has access to generative AI models. It could be one to many. And also models can talk with tools where we can define functions. They have access to APIs. They have access to databases and so on. There are lots of, like, the entire internet or the entire company's business opportunities, business ideas, and even the business logic, existing business logic is accessible. Inside of the runtime, there is an orchestration, and this orchestration nowadays it's part of the framework, which means that you don't need to figure it out. You just using the components of this orchestration here, and the orchestration does out of the box the functionality for you. And that's why I really like the agent development kit, because it actually takes turns decisions that is easy to do. And myself, I'm becoming just the, let's say, the prompting engineer first time, because it's an agent. So in the very first moment, I'm a prompting engineer, and then I'm going as an integrator of the business rules and so on. Of course, there are profile goals, instructions, tools, short, long-term memory, and even guardrails and audits that part of the agent runtime. And we will develop this subject on the go of the presentation. Okay, so in other words, because often people don't read much about the charts, let's see what architectures can be built with agentic thinking or agentic AI. There is the modularity. So you can break down complex problems into smaller manageable agent tasks. This gets your work done into a divide et impera thinking, where you need to hand off for an agent, need to hand off for a module, parts, and so on. The good news is that these parts are reusable, are externalizable, and it's very easy to implement once you or some other colleagues created something that he says it's production ready. Also, if we don't talk developerish, it could be specialization. You can create experts for specific functions which, let's say, resolve a business use case, resolve an end user case, ask details for the user, takes decisions based on the data that it has access, but the data is not hard-coded. It pulls the data, it figures out, does conversation with the data itself, and has reasoning and thinking if you use a thinking model as well. Collaboration is the future, where actually autonomous agents can work together and delegating tasks and sharing information. And this is something that today is very important, because how LLMs today work, they can only do certain things very good, but very minimal. In order to super verify or extend that with another verb or another context, you need to take a partial response and hand over to a specialized agent, and then you can actually improve it or evaluate it, even put in production and so on. Also, from simple tasks to complex workflows, the end is actually your time and the complexity of the agents which you create or which you generate itself. So how did you get started? Well, today's talk is about Agent Development Kit, which is an open source framework to develop, run, and iterate on multi-agent applications. It's open source. The only dependency is the model itself. This model natively is configured for Gemini, but you can use local models as well, light LLMs, or you can use other models as well. Let's say it's model agnostic in a way. It's a code that you download from GitHub, so it runs on your laptop. It doesn't need any environment. It's a piece of code, and it doesn't have a runtime necessity in order to start a stack or use Docker and so on. And you can always deploy anywhere, so you can even deploy in serverless environment. You can deploy on servers and short services, even JavaScript environments, and you can even distribute as a Go binary as well. What I really like is that orchestration automatically can do sequence, parallel, and workflow type of orchestration. It has compatibility with other frameworks like the tools use. So if you are familiar with other frameworks in agentic way, you can reuse the tools, or you can actually make a polyglot agent system where some of the other frameworks are exposing functionality and you consume in agent development kit, or whichever versa, you create in agent development kit and you consume in other frameworks. This works when the company, for example, has something that has been built with another framework as well. Supports toolbox, MCPs, A2A, agent-to-agent protocol, skills, sub-agents. I can add much more stuff here because this is evolving so much into a full suite with. It's available in 4 languages. And if we are actually going to the website of this tool, we are able to see that ADK Python, ADK JS, ADK Go, ADK Java are packages which are available in order for you to get started. As you see, Gemini is one listed as an agent, but it can be many, many agents. Light LLM is the one where it's being, let's say, accessed all other models than Gemini. So whatever is being supported by Light LLM is going to be supported in the agents itself. The website has evolved on the go because it's 4 languages and polyglot. It's much more about features and not about examples, but I've seen many, many good examples defined here in a very simple way, like in a pseudocode and so on. Good. I want to stop a bit here and I am going to check where is the themes. And this is the themes. I want to see what questions we have here so far. Is it possible to use a preset of custom LLMs fine-tuned for certain tracks? Yes, I just shown that what is capable as a light LLM component, you can use those models as well. How to do it? You prompt it. So I even don't write ADK code right now. I'm actually prompting to write it self, or I'm using Gemini CLI for this. From operational standpoint, can I also plug in my own hotel like Phoenix? Well, I don't know these services, what they are, but as long as they are callable as a REST service or as anything on the internet, it can be wrapped in a function. You can call these services because everything which is returned, you can refer to the agent for further decisions and so on. Do we have here a Q&A? I think no. Keep up the questions if there is any. Good. What commands you need in order to get started? And here we have ADK as the library. We have the create command to start a new agent project. This is the hello world example. We have the run and we have the web. Then if you only want the backend component of it, then you have the API server, which starts a local fast API server. What is fast API? It's a Python-based runtime environment. And my examples, my ADK examples will be Python-based. But if you are another language developer, the same is available in the other mentioned languages as well. And ADK deploy is actually a quick command in order to get quickly to Cloud Run or Agent Engine and GKE in the GCP environment and so on. So, for example, in this project, which I'm going to use as a couple of demos here, not all because there are many here. If I'm running the ADK command, like a plain command, I get here all these suggestions, like what I can do for it. And I'm able to do something like ADK create agent 0. It will start in a moment. And it will ask a couple of questions about this, and then we will get What's happening right now is a cold start of Python and antivirus scanning the code itself, because this is how it's set up. So choose a model for the root agents. I'm going to go with the basics one right now. Choose a model. I'm going to use right now this PC setup for Vertex AI, for Márton workshop, global, and I've got a folder created here, which essentially has the agent file. The agent file is very straightforward. Where is my? It has the model. It has a root agent. This is by definition a root agent which gets this thing going. It has a description and it has an instruction like a prompt itself. And obviously it has an environmental variable where it set up the cloud initialization in order to get this project working. I've set up a Google Cloud project in order to run this agent and to do the demos as well. This is the hello world in order to get going. After you are done with this, you are able to run the application. But right now, I'm going to jump into an example where there is actually a front end, which is not part of the ADK, but it's built as a front end. And I've already started this project for you. And I can here ask about what is the energy status of Slovakia and Romania and Hungary compared in today's energy prices, something like this. This is a research agent, and it will get going with creating a plan. It has different agents set up in the background, and my prompt is being rewritten for the plan generator. It has an address of it, like a response, and it proposes what steps to actually do here, like what to analyze further. And once the plan is approved, it goes for execution. And let's go. Because this was just the init agent itself, and there will be much more agents started right now. So what you see here is transfer to agent, which is a research pipeline. That's one of the agents, and it starts actually doing all the research of this problem, and it uses a thinking model. I think it's Gemini 3.1 setup here. It does use the Google search tools. It will evaluate quality and so on. And this is, let's say, the research pipeline. More agents are used here. So, and it produces an output for this. This was just a basic setup as a front-end application. Let's see now the backend, because people are interested of the backend itself. The project has a front end, has an app backend. I'm going to actually show you the backend itself, because that's what you are interested. And I will be quickly, because I don't want to spend time on this complicated example in a way for it. I just want to feel what's in this situation. So this is a tree of the functionality that's in this file. We have a root agent, we have a planner, we have a research pipeline, we have a search executor, research evaluator, researcher section planner, and so on. The root agent is the one that I mentioned that is very important. And in this situation, interactive planner agent is the one that's nominated as root agent. This is the primary research assistant. This is the primary orchestrator in a way for it. And the prompt is in here. It automatically injects, for example, date situation, because LLMs don't know exactly the context without telling you. And it actually says what sub-agents it has available and also can use plan generator. Plan generator, I jumped to this. I used control click. It's another prompt where we have the prompt how to reason about it. It uses variables, it uses tools itself, and it produces some outputs. Where is the output from? Yeah, it's actually linked because there is some other. I wanted to show you this. So if you have, if you want to actually set the output into a specific variable, you are able to actually set it in a variable in a way, right? I can use the word state in order to show it for you. And you can develop all this further. So, and if you have, for example, need for functions, you can add the callback functions. You can add additional functions itself. I don't want to spend too much time on this demo. I will go back a bit to the presentation and then we will go with smaller demos as well. So first time when you start with ADK, you need to connect to an LLM, and by nature, the recommendation is to go with Gemini. You have two ways to use it. It is Google AI Studio, which is, let's say, API key based, and you can obtain an API key from this URL or from the studio itself. Also, you get a free plan, and if you pay, if you add your billing, let's say not pay, if you add your billing, you have a generous free quota, so you don't need to actually spend too much money in order to start working on the agent itself. If you have access to Google Cloud Project, then you can actually set the region, you can set the service key file in order to get going. Once you get going, you get to actually use all the framework functionalities, and I already mentioned briefly built-in tools, function, agent garden capabilities, MCP open, API, tools, agent-to-agent protocol, and so on. What are the built-in tools? So these built-in tools are evolving, but most essential is the Google search tool, which it's just a mention, like out-of-the-box capability. You have also Vertex AI RAG engine if you use the cloud itself. You have a built-in code executor if you have a small code that you want to run it, but this is like a static code, not access to services and so on. It's much more quicker to speed up some kind of calculations, or if you have something like, I don't know, formulas, you don't express in the prompt, you put it in the built-in code executor, and it's much more faster and safer to deliver application like that. What is a custom tool? A custom tool could be like an image crop, which you created as a function, and you are able to add part of the agent capabilities as a function as well. Also, some of the agents are tools as well. So there is, when we're referring to tools, the agent itself can be a tool itself, like an agent tool. And also now I'm jumping into an open API toolset. Well, here I had a lot of confusions with my previous conferences. This is not OpenAI. This is OpenAPI. And otherwise, this is Swagger. So if you have something which is documented by Swagger, this toolset can add it as a capability. And I will stop for a moment here because this is lifetime changing. This is very, very good because it's even context syntax. You need to actually read the JSON of the Swagger, and you can hop it into this parameter, which is the spec. And pet store toolset can be added as a tool for LLM. And what capabilities you have here? You are a pet store assistant managing pets via an API. Use the available tools to fulfill user requests. What it means? It means that you have an API, which is not an MCP, it's not something agentic. As an API, it has a REST service. You set it up, the specifications to the service itself, you authorized it, and automatically figures out all the actions, capabilities of that API, and it's available as an agent itself. This is very, very interesting, and you should be aware that it's only a couple of lines to hook up a REST service into the ADK framework. Next, MCPs is the one that people are much more interested, because with MCP, you can either download some modern MCPs or you can create your own. Even MCP toolset is actually a parameterization of the configuration, then it's available as a tool as well. Now, there is the concept of sub-agents. And sub-agents, as the message says, it resolves steps outside of the main context window. I need to emphasize that we are actually, in order to run our applications memory and context-wise efficiently, or context efficiently, we are going to use sub-agents. Why? Because they have their own context window. And when we hand off something to a sub-agent, we don't deal with the entire lifetime application. We just only brain those capabilities of the sub-agent which are in there. And sub-agents can be also third party. So it can be another agent which runs on a different infrastructure. It's not part of our memory footprint. It could be something that it may be a human in the loop, like it will respond maybe next day, but it will respond asynchronously and so on. You can have sub-agents added as an agent. So the same agent can be added also to tools and also to sub-agents. Often people add it to the tools initially, but later they add it to the sub-agent because they will see that it's going to work better, accurate, and the context doesn't skew and so on. ADK uses LLM to decide agent routes. And this is something I really like, because we are able to actually hook up only like an LLM agent and work globally, but sometimes we need sequential agents, loop agents, and parallel agents. But the decision what to do can be also on automatic mode. Let's see when you are going to use the parallel agent. The parallel agent can be used where you want to actually download some file. You can download in parallel all this and not one by one. We are going to use the loop agent. The loop agent is when it needs to break out from execution loop. Why I'm saying that this is important? Because agents need to self-improve the result. And they can take turns, they can take loops, and at some point, you need to have an eval condition where you says that the eval says that we are done or we should stop. Often this eval is also a mathematic limit, like 20 turns, but also it's knowledge limit. Like, did I get the right format? Did I get the right response? And so on. You can use on eval also another agent which verifies the quality of the code. Or let's say if you create a coder ADK agent, the code compiles, or it does what it should do, or the tests run. So loop agents are much more fragmented in development than the other agents itself. Also, ADK provides you like a visual representation of your tools and sub-agents and everything. So it's really helpful to get going if you work on a more complex application. But nonetheless, there is a feature which I really like. Using existing MCP servers within ADK and exposing functionality via an MCP server. Well, at first point, the explanation sounds complicated, but I will explain with a very easy example what's in this screen and why this is a killer example. So we have ADK. We know that it can start a server, which is a fast API server, which exposes also itself like an MCP endpoint. I did not tell you already this, but ADK exposes an MCP endpoint. So what it means that in Cursor, in Cloud Code, in Gemini CLI, in VS Code, you are able to actually hook up something which is ADK MCP. So you can hook up an MCP in VS Code and be backed by an ADK agent that you developed or someone. This is the easiest developer example told to you, but it could be business-wise example. Now, why is the killer combination? Because the input, it could be, let's say, a farm of agents. But just 5 minutes ago, I was discussing you that you may hook up an open API spec, which is a Swagger, and you can build it part of the agent development kit, which in 2 seconds, people should understand that by hooking up a REST API and delivering as an ADK, let's say, stack or like a service, I can hook it up into VS Code, the API itself. And I only need a page of code like that fits on the screen itself. Nothing complicated. And people realize now that ADK also lets them to develop quicker and so on. Good. And nowadays, probably every people is navigating away from MCPs, but they are going into skills. But skills nowadays are like hard-coded prompts and like a prompt sharing collection. And you are able to get these guidelines part of your prompting structure. And also in ADK, you are able to hook it up and work with them. So you don't need to actually write all the prompts for you, and it helps you to get going. To define skills with files, you are able to use load skill from DIL, where you actually add the skill itself, and the skills will be added as a tool set, and it will be added as a capability of the agent itself. How I'm actually using this in practice? I find currently on the internet a bunch of skills about coding style or anything which is detection of, let's say, level of perfection, document coverage, like documentation, tests, or missing stuff. You can hook up these skills into an ADK repo, and then you are able to run overnight on your code base. So I often set up at 5-6 p.m. jobs that I start. I'm using a slow model to not pay a lot, and I let it to run it there. And my ADK with the existing skills is going to produce me a report of this. And next morning, my report is in Jira or Redmine, whatever tool you are using, and I can validate it. And if I validate, I can use another agent to implement the code itself. Or initially, I did manually to implement in Gemini CLI or anti-gravity and so on. But probably you have heard that you can call these tools headless, and you are able to actually add feature branching like Git work trees, your station, your laptop, or you can even Dockerize these runtimes, and you are able to get autonomous development for your certain tasks and so on. Also, defining skills with code is just another syntax. Here you have the instructions, but you can also have references. Like, for example, many skills often now comes with helping files where you can actually hook up those files. I like this mode much better in code because actually I can build out an UI where people can drop skills and they can test or iterate with different prompts and so on. And in my code, I actually do just basic prompting, and I'm actually changing the file from the business rule of the application itself. Good. I'm going into the questions again. Hopefully we have, I left a note for me like, okay, I will just answer as we go. What is the future of human developers with the rise of agent AI? Yeah, I would say that we got more tools to use, and we are going to get a better developer from day one to day two, and there will be a natural, I don't know, evolving as developers. So some people will be very good at defining prompts, some people will be very good at architecture, and we will get much more talent out of nowhere. Like we will be surprised by one, two colleagues which are actually rising in their career because they get to use their human brains in order to set up interesting agents and so on. I would say it's a great capability, but we need to turn into the humans need to turn into let's say um, revenue stream, because humanity is being driven by a revenue stream. Right now, I only see that people are building, but there is no clear strategy what they build with AI agents. So they just waste tokens in order to build applications. But we need to settle down and build either revenue stream, or we need to research and cure cancer, whatever. So I'm not as qualified to answer all these questions, but these are my opinions here and so on. Some people advise to use more agnostic libraries like Lang or Spring AI to make code less dependent on Google. What do you think about it? What advantages has ADK over those libraries? So I would say that right now, on my perspective, the big vendor models are out-qualifying everything. And right now, if you are using any, I would say, open or cheap models, you are taking a wrong decision. When you understood the differences between those two and actually what helps you to decide what models you use, then you can actually go into, let's say, open model. I'm using open models and cheap models only for basic tasks. Like, for example, writing a Git summary or creating, I don't know, develop a article from a research topic, but the research or the execution itself is done by the vendor model. Hopefully this answers your question for this, but that's my take on this situation. I spend too much time on exploring open source and open models, and all the vendor models are just killing tech, and we need to actually get to the limitation of our time and so on. What advantages has ADK over those libraries? Well, I like ADK because it's very minimalistic. It's very easy to prototype, and it's a framework which is just the pure framework. So as you have probably already seen, it has a bunch of capabilities mentioned. You can prompt these capabilities. It has its own, let's say, skill, like ADK skill to get this code out of it. And it's not dependent on Google, because even if you start and let's say Hello World example is with Gemini, you are able to go with light LLM later and change models as well. And you are actually be able to understand better when you get the cost issue, what agent I can hand off to a, let's say, less costly model and so on. Hunor is asking about operational questions. If I get the right, the agent's responses are collected through an internal GCP tracking system. No, this is a component. So this doesn't run on cloud. This runs on my laptop, and it's not like that. You can activate this in agent space and in the cloud itself, but only if you want to do this, and only if you go to an enterprise, and only if you ship your application in the cloud itself. And when you decided to ship your application in the cloud, even if it's GCP or any other cloud, you are actually using those technologies. So it's good for you to actually get all the audit capabilities of CloudTrace, and I could say even just Trace, whatever platform you use. Philip Levente, what are some suggested prerequisites from a coding perspective to be productive in this all? Well, this is a good example, and I'm going to be practical. I'm going to go to when my screen is a bit floating, and in GitHub, I need to find it visually. Hold on. So in GitHub, they added a vibe coding section. If you want to develop agent via vibe coding, take this file or the full file. I mean, the small file is fine, can be used as context to LLM. And with these files, you actually get the knowledge how to prompt and how to write fully working code with ADK and so on. And this is really helpful. And as I mentioned, there are a bunch of skills. So even if skills for ADK, I mean, this is the documentation, but was ADK skills, there is a repo somewhere. Skills. There is skills agent. Yeah, sorry, my computer is a bit having skills agent. And for example, this skills agent has a skill saying how to use skills and so on. And you are able to extend your applications with the skill itself. Good. Let's see, where is my questions deck? Where is my questions deck? Good. Thank you, Levente, for the question. Moretti Mattia, can ADK work on ARM-based systems like NVIDIA GG Spark? I mean, the ADK is multi-platform. I don't have the answer, so please ask Gemini about this. When it comes to agent routing logic with optimization in mind, what model size is best value cost to make decisions like what types need more heavy, lightweight models? It comes down to the human itself. So I would, as I previously said, I would start with a model that is capable of doing a decent enough good job. And I would say that's a vendor model. And I need to set up a baseline. So I need to get a sense of the capabilities or the quality of the answer. And I actually, let's say 2 years ago, we have been in a situation that it was a bunch of hallucination and the response was, let's say, not qualifying, and we just abandoned it. Now we get more and more models to actually build that out. Once you do with the vendor models, with the big ones, you get the sense like that business case is 100% covered or not. Is the technology there or it's not there yet? I would say, let's say in the most generalistic way, the technology is there and the vendor model will resolve your task. And you are done, you verified it. Now, the next phase is you are going to find another model and you are going to build a version B of it. And now you are in A/B testing. You have the vendor model, you have the B, the open model, and you are testing the results. And you will be amazed how inaccurate or how, I don't know, stupidity is in some very complex tasks. But for some little task like generating, I don't know, a category name or like a subject line or something basic, these lightweight models are good enough. I say good enough. So the choice is up to the human, but I would go in a top to down strategy. And I will not use this pyramid of building from open model to the top itself. Hopefully I answered the questions. Actually, Yunor is asking really great questions. So you should run some presentation about these answers that we provide because I think it's good. Moretto Mattia again. Is this fast API MCP exported server also STDO? By the way, the Swagger Capel is outstanding. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, sorry for this. I don't know why it's there, but I'm using Teams for it. Is this fast API exported server also? How do I shut this down? Mute. Okay. Swagger, sorry again, I was getting uh, losing focus a bit. So fast API MCP exported server also STDO. Who I don't know really the answer. If it provides STDO, honestly, because it runs on the network, so probably it's the SSE protocol. Hey, that's a good question. You should try it out or test it. Honestly, I really don't know. But if not, you could create an issue tracker and maybe the team, if it's not yet there, you can ask the team as well. Adam, can you describe your typical day as a developer with AI agents as helper? This question is to the presenter. Well, okay, good. At least he mentioned me like the presenter. Okay, so I'm I'm, let's say, the lead AI applicator or integrator in the company. So I need to be up to date with all the technology that's out there. So I spend a bunch of time to trying out demos and looking how this works. And after I'm done, uh, I work on my daily tasks. So usually, let's say 6 hours in a day, I work as a developer. But in those 6 hours, I get my agents to run most of the stuff by me, and I am only supervising what is being done and so on. Uh, in When I have something ready for overnight setup or overnight, I already briefly mentioned that I set up agents where they provide the audits, tests, coverage, and most of it reports that nobody likes to read or create over the night. And next day I can pick out certain aspects of it, like if I have a hardening on API request, like a throttle, or if they use local storage versus cookies and so on. And because I'm working with multiple teams, I already find a lot of problems. Problem finding is good, and you are able to fetch information, and you are able to actually hand off to the team that, okay, this should be fixed or this should be added as a guardrail to the application, so it should not be repeatedly surfaced to the team leader or repeatedly surfaced and they look into and so on. So I'm doing a lot more other things, and I also manage some servers, so I need to watch what those are, how are the health of those, and so on. I don't like meetings, and I'm not participating as a developer in a meeting, only let's say once a while. I usually use Jira and Redmine for different projects to communicate with the team as well. And I had to shut down Slack. So I have Teams for emergencies, but I don't want to actually be in a Slack because it's disrupting my daily routine and so on. So that was a decision, and for who needs to get a hold of me, they have emergency channels and so on. Good. Adam again. Can you describe or find links to guidance how to work in that multi-agent way? Yeah, I think we should take this to a private discussion. Maybe you can find YouTube material because that's how I learned to run it. Or you can just even explain what you are doing right now to Gemini like a prompt, and you can say that you want to become an agentic developer and how to set up overnight tasks. Uh, it will help you. So I learned I learned from other materials as well. So I was not producing the materials. I was just using and seeing what others are actually suggesting and building out. Good. I will just leave another message for my quick uh, note. Let's go a bit. Let's be. I have I have more time allocated by the organizers to run this presentation. So let's see something else as well. So I'm going to close this demo, which let's say I was in a front end showcasing you, but I want to get out of this right now, and I'm going to back to the basic demo because people might be interested to see how to get started with the framework. So I already mentioned this tool use. So if you are wondering how to add a custom tool, you just need to create a function and you need to return something. I suggest JSON-ish because it already has context in attributes, like you want to use it in a way for it. So this is just a basic example how to create a function and use it. Computer tool. Well, this is something not to the here. Let's see the PDF one. Let me start this ADK web. Okay, application is up. Let's access it. So this is the basic UI where you get with the agent development kit. It's getting revamped currently. I think 5 versions in the back, so you should get a much more modern version of it. I'm going to go into this PDF agent itself. Where is the cursor? It's here. It's just not showing because of the presentation. What can you do? I can do typos as well. Why it's working, yo. So this is a PDF link finder and planner and parallel download executor. So this is a demo agent itself. It's not like a business one. So I'm going to open a page I know. Hello, internet. Now, why is taking this so long? It should not, but I'm just closing this for the sake of presentations. So on this page, all these links are actually PDF files. And I can take this link itself. Where is the agent? And I can say download PDF from here. And let's see what's happening. So it runs the tool like find PDF links. Let's see what it does. It provides me an overview, like it found 80 PDFs, some of the files, and it started parallel downloading. And if I go back, I should see the PDFs popping up here. I do a refresh probably. Download. Yeah, I think that site has some internet problems because it was loading slow, but this is where the PDFs show up and so on. Yeah, I'm not seeing the second one, but let's say download 5 more. Maybe it will get the internet working. But anyway, I want to show you the UI as well. So you have all the iteration with the conversation. You have like an event. You have with the trace ID if you want to use it in a cloud environment. You have the state itself. Like right now, it's only the plan itself. I don't have artifacts in this project. I made only one session, not a new session. And I didn't create an evaluate set itself. And you have all kind of metrics as a developer to get going as well. Good. I want to show you one more thing. Requests, response. Where is it? Not that one. Go back. Close. Oh, not the trace. Where is it? Not the artifact. It should be somewhere here. Why it's not popping out? Oh, I think I need to click this one. Okay. Where is what I want to show you? I don't have it. Right. Probably they removed that part. Probably they remove it. Anyway, I wanted to show you something, but I don't have it. How is the code for this agent? I'm going to close this. I'm going to show you the functions for it. So there is a root agent, there is a planning agent, there is a find PDF links, a function that I created, and a download PDF function itself. And there is a parallel download executor. So the root agent in this situation is a sequential agent. So first of all, I wanted to sequence two items. One is the planning and then the parallel download execution. And inside the parallel download execution, I actually set download PDF tool as a parallel action. So this download PDF is the parallel action, what it does. And I created the functionality like find PDF links and download PDFs and so on. Why I had to create this, I had to actually mimic a valid user agent in order to get the page read by the code itself. And also for the download PDF, I had to do it in order to write it to the file system as well. And this is a basic example to use different tools and to experience with sequential agent and experience with the parallel agent as well. Good. And this is an example. Good. I have also a messenger bot, messenger as the Facebook messenger bot. Let me see the questions first. Yeah, I will come back to this. Okay, messenger one, because it's easy to understand by the people. Let me close this. Close this. Let's go to the messenger bot. So the messenger bot has a Facebook API integration, which is very easy, straightforward. Like there is a callback that Facebook notifies you, and you need to get the callback. In that callback, it will be the chat message the user sent. There is a session service in order to store the previous conversation, and there is the agent itself. This agent is in Hungarian, by the way, and it's for my mother who creates gems. I don't know, hatchetly. How do you say in English? Anyway, it's a gem that she creates like a juice, and we are able to offer this and sell it. And let's see how it goes into practice. Hopefully, I'm able to load this quickly up. There is a page for this. This is the bot itself. And there is a cold start because Python-driven application, there is a cold start. So initially, I need to wait a couple of seconds in order to get going. And then I can ask different questions about this bot itself. I'm going to use the Zoom to help you. Okay, so let's talk in English because this is in English, man. Why I'm so tired. I want to order 5 butters. What is the cost for me? Hello, where is my bot? Responding. Okay, so it tells me that only in Hungarian and Romanian can answer. So it told me what is the total amount, and it asked me about my phone number. So let's say something like we are in the US, 555, I don't know, whatever. Okay, I cannot. It asked me if I can pick it up. Yeah, a 9-month lead, I don't know. Kossuth, number one, it is always, let's say, Jasperin. And it should tell me that we cannot deliver to this address. Yeah, it says that Jasperin is not part of the delivery zone, but Marosvásárhely is, and so on. So anyway, the happy part is that there is a conversation about price, there is a conversation about quantity, there is a conversation about when it should happen, the delivery, how even people, even they can uh, ask recipes about it. Ha érek egy receptet az a vastag hecserli paszta eltevésére. Sorry for mentioning this in Hungarian in a way. I'm asking about different questions, not about technicality of the order itself. And where is my answer? There is a debate if a chatbot needs to be fast and slow. So I had an issue in a customer project where people were actually adding me a bunch of questions, like I want to add more bottles, and it was overwhelming for the backend system, like figuring out the messages and so on. And people are, well, I like behaving quicker, and some people wait answers and so on. Naturally, in this environment, slowing down the agent is actually helpful, because in a situation when it's a business situation, like people will tell you hello, and then there is a message line 2, message line 3, and by the time you get to answer it, you get more context into the situation, uh, into the system. Good. Let me go back a bit to the questions itself. Good, not really a good question. So let me show you another example if you have the time for it. So one of my friends is a professional photograph and created a bunch of photos about different wine bottles. And he wanted to build out a product gallery about the naming the brand and the details of the wine bottles as well. And I asked, like, okay, give it here, I will process it with AI. So the data set was like thousands of professional photos, front, back side of the bottle, high detail photo quality. Sometimes it was the main label, sometimes it was a neck label, and there were like 3 bottles on the screen and so on. So challenges with Gemini 3, high quality data set. Initially, dry run produced 0 success. What could be the problem? So I took the image of like one of the images that I got in the folder, and I uploaded to Gemini, and I write the prompt like, give me the information out of it, and it did not produce a result. And I was shocked, like, what's happening? Like, you can read text from the images, like, what could be the problem? Well, the problem was, and it relies on the previous screen, the image was too big. So actually the professional photograph images was too big. And because later I found out that LLM works best with rectangle images and automatically does a retiling inside, and technically that's 680, 768 by 6 by that. And the image was so good that it was only a part of the professional photographs, like only a rectangle. It could, let's say, in a pun intended way, it only had only a letter in the tile itself, and it could not produce a results for it, which was a valid point, because the professional photograph was actually too good, like very good studio photo and so on. So I had to resolve this problem. I could have cropped the file, I could have made like a thumbnail and so on, but I've chosen to experiment with the AI and to build out in an agentic way. And I turn to the spatial understanding of the model, where I was asking the model to return segmentation mask. What this means? It means that I had a prompt, give the segmentation mask for the labels. Output a JSON list of segmentation masks where each entry contains the 2D bounding box in the key box 2D, the segmentation mask in key mask, and the text label in the label. Use descriptive labels. And I was able to get a box 2 with main label. I was able to get a box 2 with neck label, and I was able to get let's say a base 64 encoded mask. And the mask even was the shape of the label itself. And once I had this, for me, it was then just crop the photo. And once the photo was cropped, and because this had different positions in the professional photo, like for one of the bottle, it could be in the middle of the bottle. For now, it could be larger, like taller. Some had neck. Sometimes the bottle is on the left, on the right. So I could not use, let's say, traditional batching or traditional uh, cropping of the images. I had to be a dynamical extraction one. And this was a prompt, and I put this into an agent itself. Once is done, you are an expert in text extraction from images, and I added what to extract. And this is my for agent file finder, like locate the file from the disk, segmentation agent that get the segmentation mask, cropping agent, run the crops from the professional photo, and then do the OCR agent in order to read the text from the image. And I was able to produce him a database based on the photos itself and all the extraction data from the labels itself, and it was able to build a gallery in it. The question is why I did this way, or the question is like, could this be done in a old way standard programming? Yes, it's doable. Like we can do cropping, segmentation, and so on. We can even reduce the photo like thumbnail ways. But I decided to work in a fun way, to use the AI and to use the ADK for this. And all you could put the question like, what was the development time? Like while I was researching the problem, it took me like a good 1 hour until I figured out what is my issue. And once I understood my issue, I also realized that I need to program this as an agent in order to solve the issue. And this was like a good 1 hour. And all the development time with the testing, it took me 4 hours. This was a Saturday actually, and it was a Saturday afternoon, and I was so happy that I was able to leverage the capabilities of ADK in a Saturday way, that every project which you deliver in a weekend, like a side project, it's a good vitamin for the developers. And I was very, very enthusiastic for like 6, 8 weeks later that I was able to get this done. And actually, my friend got a really good ambassador of this ADK, because he's already mentioning that Márton was able to figure out this and he coded this in no time. And now it's a workflow. Like I delivered the application that he can put this into a folder. He just starts the app with setting the folder, and it creates an Excel file for him, and he just verifies the mistakes and so on. So we even evolved this in a, let's say, commercially where we cross-reference some brands with a dictionary, because sometimes there is a special font on the wine, and the special font how it's written, the brand, it could make mistakes a bit. But if you cross-reference with a glossary, it gets you to actually do 100% good work for it. And to our surprise, in some images, like I don't have an example right now here, but the back label contains a barcode. nowadays they actually need to put a barcode, like a minimal one, but we at some point we seen that the barcode is accurately written by the AI, so it was able to actually use that as a global unique, like, look here, yeah, it's here. Like, this is a big one. Often it's a smaller one. But it was able to actually read out and put into the text as well as an identificator and so on. Good. Let me check one more time the chat. Good.
Yes. Also, Márton, unfortunately, we are running a little bit late. So if you give final thoughts or something about the topic, that would be awesome. If you have one more demo you want to show, go ahead. But just letting you know, we are running out of time.
Okay, no problem. That's good way, because we are actually can talk a lot about this technology. So in order to keep messages in memory, you can use different services, like even database or data store, as this is something developed by me because I was looking to have a serverless way to have in a serverless database some messages of my chatbots. Also, as I mentioned, you can use parameters in your text, artifacts, like you can mention files in your prompts. If you want to guardrail your agent, you can refer to the callbacks. So, for example, I always get a security question like how do you handle some guardrails? Like after model callback, you can actually run sanitization, or even before sanitization, or after that you can check further the output results of the model. And these callbacks actually lets you to do whatever capabilities you want to control on the model itself or the tools itself and so on. And this is very good and even based, so you are able to do flexibility on this. You can deploy on Cloud Run, Vertex AI if you are in the GCP ecosystem. And essentially what you see today, that you can delegate tasks to model agnostic agents. So you can think your dev tasks as promptable. You have a local dev UI. You have flexible orchestration. You have thousands of existing tools via MCP supported. So anything on the internet could be MCP or VR skills or so on. Even Swagger, because that's a hidden capability. You can deploy where you want in the cloud in a free plan. For example, Cloud Run has a nice free plan for the users, up to 2 million requests per month. And this is the final thank you slide for the presentation. And you can hook me up on LinkedIn, and you can try out the technology and come back. Why not? Signal to the organizers that you want to speak at this opportunity in order to showcase your work as well. And I'm more than happy to see if there are more questions here on the chat. So I left off. And you can interrupt me when the time is up. Yeah, this is a really long question. In the case above, can we just say Flash is a good enough assistant dealing with the customer routing to the correct agents? Yeah. So out of the box routing works nice. So that's I never had the skew with the routing of it. Usually the prompts, when you say something, you need something in the prompt, that routing is okay, but continuing when you got that information, it's missing from the prompt. That's what I'm seeing at colleagues. Like when you got the information, you need to express in the prompt what to do next and to continue the agents, not to actually finish the agent. Okay, Camilla is very nice today with me. And for the audience, I just joined Lane. Yeah, you already answered this. Approximately how much would it cost at the LLM to move one bottle to the correct data in terms of tokens? Or how much time would it take for AI to process and match a single image between each other? So cool. Processing time in LLM is longer than in batch system. So I would say anything between 5 to 30 seconds. In AI, I would say 5 seconds, but it could be faster with some models. But in order to get the references, I would say anything between 5 and 30 seconds. For developer task, I don't care. So I have agents where they actually run for a full hour. Even the industry is slower and so on, so I don't care on that situation. If I get it right, you use data store for storing chat sessions on the fly. Did it add too much to the latency or it was better? Oh, no problem. So data store is an enterprise-ready product. It has like 50 milliseconds of latency. The problem is that data store only accepts 1500 kilobytes for the message itself. So, for example, if the user sets an image and uploads an image, you cannot store that here. So you need to upload it to a cloud storage, and you only need to reference the path to that. So it adds that situation. It adds the latency because you need to route that file and upload it. But no, data store it's an enterprise product, so it's not anything like that. Okay, so last questions, and I think Peter wants to close this meeting because we are here for a long time. So
yes, thank you so much, Márton. Thank you for this presentation. It was really amazing, and thank you for the opportunities that we could learn something new. It was really exciting to hear about this. For the audience, thank you for being here. And don't forget to join our communities on Meetup and on YouTube as well. If you want similar presentations, then feel free to contact us, as Márton mentioned. And see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.